Is there any greater cruelty than a child forced to watch her mother die? Or a mother forced to watch her child die? That's the judge's haunting words from the courtroom. Now let's talk about the case. On Thursday, September 18th, 2025, Gabriel Fitzgerald Boykins, age 50, of Tennessee, was sentenced to 45 years in prison for the brutal 2020 murders of Tamara Church, age 40, and her daughter, Aquarius Church, age 8. A Hamilton County jury convicted him in June 2025 on 2 counts of second-degree murder. He received 20 years for Tamara's death and 25 years for Aquarius's death, to run consecutively. Judge Amanda Dunn, in a powerful statement during the sentencing last Thursday, said, "Is there any greater cruelty than a child watching her mother be hurt, or a mother watching her child be hurt? One of them watched the other die." How would you handle watching your parent die? How would you handle watching your child die, knowing that you're likely next? Leave a comment and let me know. This case unfolded after Tamara and her daughter went missing on May 19th, 2020, a day after Tamara's Honda Odyssey was found set on fire on Lynbrook Avenue in the Ferger Place neighborhood of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Their remains were discovered 51 days later on Greenwood Road in a forested area adjacent to a major cemetery by using cellular location data to track the mother's last known location. I'm going to put up a picture now of Boykins, and behind him is that forested area where their bodies were found. Evidence showed that Tamara died from strangulation and blunt force trauma. She had a broken bone in the neck area, likely from that continued strangulation. She also appeared to have been punched in the face, which caused that blunt force trauma. Gets worse for the daughter, unfortunately. Remember, Aquarius is only 8 years old, so she's not a full-grown adult. She's just a little baby, just a child. Well, her skull appeared to have been stomped or crushed. In fact, the back of her skull was in pieces. So he crushed or he stomped on her head and broke the skull in pieces. Get that visual, okay? In July 2020, police found evidence that a large pool of blood had been washed away in the duplex where Boykins lived, according to Chattanoogan.com. And earlier that month, the defendant was found by police with another of Tamara's young daughters still alive and in his care. What the hell was up with that? I don't know, because the article didn't go into detail, but that seems a bit off, don't you think? I think so. Later, surveillance footage showed a man with Boykins' build walking away from Tamara's burning Honda Odyssey and heading in the direction of his duplex. While a motive was never offered, prosecutors alleged that Boykins and Tamara previously had a relationship. At the sentencing last week, Judge Dunn recounted arguments and incidents of abuse between the two. Now, Boykins, his first trial was actually last year. It was in November of 2024, and it ended in a hung jury. They did convict him of evidence tampering, but not with anything dealing with the deaths of Tamara or her daughter Aquarius. However, at the second trial in June of 2025, he was convicted of that second-degree murder for both individuals, Tamara and Aquarius. And at last week's sentencing, Judge Dunn told the grieving family that no punishment could bring back their loved ones. Boykins has continued to maintain his innocence, and he showed no emotion in court. But get this, he has a long criminal record. He has 44 prior cases dating back to 1995. That's right, 44 cases in 30 years. Now, the article didn't go into detail or recount what those 44 cases were, But still, that's averaging over 1 case a year over the last 30 years. Here's the reminders. 1. Keep demanding release of those files, and you know which ones I'm talking about. 2. No Kings Protest, Part 2. It's coming up on October 18th, 2025. For more info, go to their website at nokings.org. That's O-R-G. And 3, keep your eyes on the prize. The prize is the White House and democracy in America. Do not get distracted by the foolishness, mayhem, debauchery, and lies coming out of this administration. If you like this video, or if you learned anything, please hit all 4 buttons on the right side of your screen on TikTok. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The link to the article used for this video, well, I will put it in the comments section on TikTok. You may have to look down in the folded comments section to get to it, but it will be there. And on YouTube, I will put it in the video's description. Your support is appreciated, and I thank you in advance for your support on TikTok and on YouTube. And please, on either platform, leave your comments and let me know your thoughts on this case, because it's a bit twisted, stomping on anybody, but let alone a little 8-year-old girl stomping on her head or crushing her head or something. Just twisted. And to kill somebody in front of another person, and that poor person is sitting there thinking or realizing they're going to be next. Twisted, in my opinion. But what do you all think? And as always, thank you for watching, and have a great day.